Hey guys, Allison here. Well, today I want to talk about the key to happiness. I got it, folks. I got it all set for you. Okay, the key to happiness, in my view, is to not want anything too much. What do I mean by that? Now, we have strong desires, let's say a strong desire to get married, to have a child, whatever it is. But if we want it too much, we make ourselves very vulnerable. Now, first thing we always want to do when we have a strong desire is to submit it to God. Lord, if this is your will, it'll be, right? Let me know if this is your will, all right? Change my heart if it's not. We sometimes we don't do that. We're just trying to change God's mind, right? We think maybe it's not his will, so we're going to do everything we can to try to change his mind. We're going to do every novena, every kind of prayer, every kind of retreat. We're going to do it all because we're going to try to change God's mind. But the reality is, if it's not what we want, what he wants for us, because he ultimately knows what's going to make us the happiest, then we need to submit to that and just say, Lord, if this is your will, I trust it'll happen. If it's not your will, take this desire out of my heart. Just take it. Just let it go. And I went through that for many, many years. I wanted to get married and I wanted the right guy. And I was like, all right, either Lord, I went to Medjugorje on a pilgrimage out of my comfort zone. And I said, if this is your will, please finally answer my prayer. And if it's not, please just take it out of my heart, because I just don't want to deal with this anymore. But at that point, I was also in a better place because I had made the decision to be happy no matter what. And I think that was really, really important for me to do. The key, again, is not to want anything too much where it holds the power. So a lot of people in relationships, and I've seen this many, many times, they want the relationship so badly, and the other person then has all the power. And this is often the differential, is the woman wants it so much and the guy's a little bit more detached. And I think that our culture has also kind of like supported that view and made that kind of popular, that devil may care, But the reality is, the women who tend to be the most popular and get the most men are very detached, all right? I've mentioned it before. I'm a big fan of the books of Dr. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. And Dan Sullivan is a legendary coach. And he says this: always be the buyer. What does that mean? If you're in a transaction with someone and you're the buyer, you always have that option to walk away. They have to sell you. And the seller is in a more vulnerable position. So think about going into a car dealership. Hey, you don't meet my terms, I'm going to get up and walk away. And then they do the whole dog and pony show. Once you get up and walk away, then they lower the price, you know the whole thing. But when you have that ability, that detachment to get up and walk away, if what you want is not part of the deal, you have power. Now, in a healthy relationship, you should both be the buyer, right? It should be where, hey, listen, if this works well for you and well for me, this is going to be a great thing. But too often there's that power differential, right? That one person wants it more and they're always selling. I remember reading this woman talked about living together before getting married. She felt that she was doing a 5-year interview to be his wife. Wow, isn't that sad? That's so sad that she's in that vulnerable position. Which is one of the reasons I don't think living together is a good idea. Obviously, it's a sinful idea, but it's just not a psychologically good idea, because either you're committing or you're not committing. But always being the buyer, where you can get up and walk away. If this doesn't work out, I'm not going to be devastated. I haven't put all my marbles here. I can walk away. So it's that same thing about not wanting something so much that it controls you and that you're in the seller position. You want to be in the buyer position. So again, we need to incorporate prayer. We need to pray to discern God's will. One of the things that in the Trustful Surrender to Divine Providence, he talked about that if you have a persistent desire for years and you keep praying about it, God is probably going to answer that, because he ultimately inspires our desires. Those fleeting things tend to go away, but when something is really there, trust. But in the meantime, while you're waiting, be detached. Find other things that bring you happiness. Don't put all your eggs in that basket because you feel so vulnerable and powerless that way, right? Always be the buyer. Always be in a position that, hey, if this is not a good situation, I can get up and walk away. In relationships, in business transactions, in friendships, that has to be your perspective, all right, your position that, hey, if this meets my terms, I'll stay. But if it becomes abusive or unbalanced, I can walk away. Do you see how happy you can be then? Now, you may really want something to work out, but again, that's a matter of dignity. Just kind of, no, I'm not settling. I'm not going to lower my dignity if something doesn't work out. Just the way it is. So always be the buyer. Great concept. Always be the buyer. God bless.